All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Sports Network. I am Ace from the West Coast. And, of course, tonight I am joined by none other than the man from the Midwest, Brandon Herrera. How you doing tonight?
Hey, doing good. What was it, like 50 degrees in Minnesota today? Snow's melting. And I spent all day at the dealership.
So a little cold, right?
Yeah, still
a little
nice.
Cold.
And we had a tornado warning today.
Oh, wow, that's even worse yet. All right, and then, of course, we're joined tonight by J-Mac and Chili. How you doing?
I'm making it.
Making it. You know, you just got back from watching a volleyball game, so.
I did, and I'll tell you what, it's nice to be back in. They let one person come from each for each player, and it's really cool. You don't have to pay to go to the game right now, but kind of cool to watch. Some girls high school volleyball. It was good.
I love it. All right, so obviously before we start, we do have to do a little bit of housekeeping. So the first thing that we have to do is we're going to show you an ad for Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. So, Chris, if you could go ahead and pull that up, please.
Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us, from all of us here at the ASAP Network.
All right, and then, of course, we can bust out that little bit of Misty Meadows. So, Chris, go ahead and pull up that little bit of Misty Meadows up there. All right, let me tell you this. All right, so we all have those awesome ASAP Network T-shirts, and people keep asking about them. Well, guess what? Let me tell you, if you want to win an ASAP Network T-shirt, all you have to do is like, comment, share. The more comments you have, the better chance you have at winning a T-shirt. So all you have to do is hop on as many shows you possibly can and just comment. The person that leaves the most comments at the end of the month wins Viewer of the Month, and you win one of those T-shirts. Now, besides trying to win a T-shirt, you can always order one. All you have to do is connect with anybody on the ASAP Sports Network, and it's $14.99 plus shipping and handling. It says sizes small to 2XL, but you can actually get bigger than that. It's just going to cost you a little bit more. All right. So now, we all know every week we have some awesome topics. We have some lit topics. And we also cover top 5 quarterbacks for a certain team every single Wednesday. Well, how about this week? What do we have? Top 5 Buffalo Bills quarterbacks of all time. This is a little bit better than the Jets. It's a little bit better than the Dolphins. But it was still a rough top 5 list. So, Brandon Herrera, why don't you go ahead and start us off with your top 5?
Yeah, why don't I? So, yeah, like you said, it's a little bit better, but it's still kind of tough. I typically don't put players that are playing right now in there, but I got to put Josh Allen at number 5. I mean, 28-15 in 3 years, finally made the playoffs, probably a few plays away from making the Super Bowl this year. So next year, if we do this list again, he's probably up there for sure. Number 4, I got Doug Flutie. He was 21 and 29, or I'm sorry, 21 and 9. Number 3, got Drew Bledsoe. Made 1,500 yards, 55 touchdowns. Number 2, I got Joe Ferguson, probably second in wins for the Bills at 77, and he's pretty much second in every category of the Bills. And then, of course, you got Jim Kelly, 101 in wins. Playoff appearances, he's 9-8 in. 0-4 in Super Bowls, of course, but 4 straight Super Bowls. He was a Hall of Famer, 5-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. So, and he's leading pretty much every category the Bills have for passing. So that's my top 5.
So
you're on mute.
Gotcha. I gotcha. There you go. All right. We're good now. Okay, so when you look at this top 5 list, when I started out with number 5, I started out with Doug Flutie, and it pains me to put Doug Flutie at number 5, not because Doug Flutie was a bad quarterback. It just pains me overall because his time in Buffalo was kind of interesting when you think about it. When he was in Buffalo, the guy was a proven winner. All he did was win games when he was in Buffalo. But he was kind of screwed over when you think about it, because that year, it was actually in 1999 when he led them to a 10-5 record in the regular season. And he didn't even get a chance to play in the playoffs because they're like, oh, we're going to replace you by Rob Johnson. When the guy was a proven winner in Buffalo. I'll tell you that game when they lost to Tennessee, that game, Buffalo, I think if Flutie would have started that game, Buffalo probably would have won because Rob Johnson looked horrible in that game. Doug Flutie also made a Pro Bowl with them.
Yep.
Had a winning record the year before, and then he was gone after that. And I'm like, man, Buffalo, what the heck are you doing? Because Rob Johnson definitely wasn't the answer. So Doug Flutie definitely deserves to be on this list, and that's why I put him at number 5. Just a proven winner. That's what he did, win games. And then number 4, Jack Kemp. He led them in the AFL. Remember when Buffalo, when it was considered the AFL, he led them to 4 straight playoff appearances. Three straight consecutive Eastern Division titles, and just overall, he was also a winner. But he also went to 2 AFL championships also. So you got to throw him in there. You got to put him at number 4, and then number 3, of course, you cannot forget about none other than. And I know you guys are gonna laugh about this. You guys are gonna laugh, but you have to throw him in there. I had to get him in there. You have to go with Fitzmagic. Ryan Fitzpatrick at number 3. And when you look at his numbers, he's 4th all time in Buffalo Bills for passing. And to me, I know they gave him 4 years as a starter. So to some people that would be like, you know what, he had enough time, but no, that wasn't enough time. I still think he could have done great stuff in Buffalo if they would have given Ryan Fitzpatrick a little bit more. But they didn't, and then they moved on, and nothing worked out until Josh Allen is there now. And so that actually brings us to number 2, which is Josh Allen. Yes, I have Josh Allen. Yes, I have Josh Allen at number 2. Oh. Who are you going to put over Josh Allen? See, Yoel completely agrees. Josh Allen, number 2. I know he's young, but ever since he's been there, he's done some great things with Buffalo. This year in the MVP race, he led them to the playoffs. Led them to the playoffs last year too, 2 consecutive seasons. If he keeps going, by the time he retires in Buffalo, he's going to probably have every major passing record in Buffalo. And then, of course, number 1, Jim Kelly. The only thing that Jim Kelly lacks is you kind of wish he would have won a Super Bowl ring, going in and losing 4 straight Super Bowls. How many How many players can say, I went to 4 straight Super Bowls, but I lost them all? I lost them all. And the bad thing about it is that when they went to these 4 straight Super Bowls, the first one against the Giants was close. It was they lost by a missed field goal, but then the next 3 seasons after that, they just drastically got worse. They started getting beat worse and worse and worse and worse. So if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, are you excited after the 3rd year that you're like, I'm going back to the Super Bowl, the 3rd time's a charm, and then you lose again, and you're like, okay, we're going a 4th time. The 4th time has to be a charm. And then you lose again. So as a Buffalo Bills fan, you're probably thinking, I give up. But you know what? That's my top 5 list. So J-Mac?
Well, mine are pretty comparable to the rest of yours. I actually have I had Kemp at 5. You guys have already touched on him. Ferguson was 4 for me. 3 was a little different, though. I do think that at 3, I have Drew Bledsoe because of what he did after he left New England there. He was there for 3 years, and he made him competitive during the 3 years he was there. So Drew Bledsoe was number 3 for me. Number 2 is Josh Allen. But not only because of what he's done there passing the ball. Josh Allen has rushed for 25 touchdowns in 3 seasons. Did anyone know that? 25 touchdowns in 3 years as the Buffalo starter. Kind of crazy. So a crazy, interesting stat for Josh Allen, by the way. Do you know how many games he started consecutively now for Buffalo?
Well, let's see. Since starting, so this is Josh Allen's 3rd year, I do believe. This is his 3rd year in the league, and he hasn't missed a start. So there you go. So
you would think it's 48, but it's actually 47. Now here's the interesting stat of why. And it's because the first play of the Buffalo-Miami game in Week 17 of this last year, 2020, Allen lined up at wide receiver, and the ball was snapped directly to Devin Singletary. So for stat purposes, Josh Allen doesn't get the credit for the start at quarterback. How much crap is that?
Really? I did not
really,
realize that.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So, I mean, they don't credit him with the start, even though he took every other snap in the game. But it is what it is. That's how the NFL is with that kind of stuff. So, anyway,
week 1 they pulled a trickery play. That's weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then number 1, of course, is Jim Kelly for all the reasons you guys said and more. The guy's an all-time great. 4 straight Super Bowls. No one's ever done that, and Jim Kelly did. And Scott Norwood doesn't miss a field goal. They win at least one of those. I think if he doesn't miss that field goal, it probably turns that whole franchise around. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So 4 straight Super Bowls for Kelly, and he's obviously number 1.
Dang you, Norwood! Dang you!
Right?
The kicker who missed the field goal. Dang you, Norwood!
Yeah.
That's Scott Norwood.
Well, Josh Allen, if you're watching, if Allen's watching, I'm sorry I put you number 5, bud. I guess I underrated you.
Well, again, Brandon, no, that's your list, and that's fine. But what does it for me is that he's not just a thrower. Like, he's run for 25 touchdowns. 25 touchdowns in 3 years. So,
and that's why I put him on the list in the first place of what he's done. And it's just like, if he does it again next year and we do the same list, yeah, he'd probably be, my number 3, number 2 quarterback. So.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So anything else that we need to say about these top 5 Buffalo Bills quarterbacks of all time? Because this was kind of an interesting list to make, because there was a few more that you could have put in the top 5, but I'm like, man, I got to give some props to a few guys. And, Brandon, nothing against you putting Josh Allen at number 5. He's young, so a lot of people probably want to put him at number 2. But it's just because of what he's accomplished at such a young age with Buffalo, which is kind of why I had to put him in there at number 2, because he's definitely on the right track. But who's to say he doesn't regress? If he regresses, then obviously you have to drop him down at that point. But
right. And so, just to speak real quick before we move on more about Josh Allen, the reason why he's at number 2, he already has some franchise records. And if you think about how great that is, I mean, in his 3rd year, he's got franchise records of most rushing yards by a quarterback in a single season for the Bills, 631.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the most rushing yards in a game for them by a quarterback with 135. Most rushing touchdowns in a season with 9. The list goes on and those kind of things. He's got passing records, though, too.
Most passing touchdowns in a season.
Most passing touchdowns a season with 37. Most total touchdowns in a season with 46. Most 300-yard 4-touchdown games in a single season with 4. So, those are records that he already has in his 3rd year with the team.
Oh, no doubt. He's definitely there. I'm actually kind of shocked that Ace put him so high, just the fact that he's still playing. Because I know Ace is kind of like me. We don't really want to put players in that are still playing. So
I don't.
But yeah, how could you not put Al? How do you not put Allen in this list? I get it. He's got so much in a young time frame.
I generally don't. I'm with you on that, Brandon. I generally don't. But when I look at this list, it's so hard for me to look at that and be like, Josh Allen. How can you not put him at number 2? It's so hard at that point because there wasn't a lot of great Buffalo Bills quarterbacks. There really, really wasn't.
No, I totally get it and understand why you guys did it. Like I think J-Mac said before, the list is your list and you can't really argue with it unless you go really crazy and you have, let's say you don't put Jim Kelly in there.
That would be crazy. That would be nuts.
Exactly.
And I don't even understand. Maybe some people wouldn't put Doug Flutie in their list, but Doug Flutie, when you think about it, though, he was screwed over. He was screwed over too. I think that Buffalo had kind of the answer with Doug Flutie. Yeah, he was small and he didn't throw for a lot of touchdowns, but he won games. That's what he did. So they should have stuck with Doug Flutie, but. They chose not to. They went with Rob Johnson. Are you kidding me?
It was probably the age thing. He was up there when he got there. So, but
look what he did. Look at what he did in the CFL. Multiple Grey Cups. A Hall of Famer in the CFL. His number was retired in the CFL. Probably the greatest Canadian Football League player to ever play the game. All right.
It's either him or Warren Moon. I think that could be an argument between the two.
That would be a good argument.
That would be that's a good topic for a show one of these days.
The CFL. The
CFL was
Yeah.
No, let's throw the European Football League in there too. Why not?
Why not? Right. All right. So we could even go with the top AAF. Just kidding. Top 5 AAF.
All right, now we're stretching a little bit. You might as well go fan-controlled football league then.
Right. All right. So now we're gonna move off the topic of the Buffalo Bills, and we're gonna jump into a little bit of soccer here. So we had previously talked about this before with his massive contract that he just got, the biggest contract pretty much ever in all of sports. So when you look at this, my question for you is Lionel Messi the greatest soccer player ever? And if he's not, then who is? And J-Mac, I'll start with you. Do you believe that Lionel Messi is the greatest soccer player ever?
No, I don't.
No? Okay, then who is the greatest soccer player ever?
Pele.
You're still going with Pele.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever going to beat Pele. He did so much for the sport of soccer and the Brazilian national team. He was that heart and soul of that team, and you look how many – they won, 3 World Cups with him? Like, that's unheard of. No one's going to win 3 World Cups with their players. these days. It's just not going to happen because they're so spread out. But Pele did so much for the game of soccer. Pele, to me, will always be the greatest soccer player ever. But again, that's arguable because we're seeing a lot really good players today who could arguably be it. But for me, it's Pele. I think Messi's very good. I think Messi's top 5 all time with no doubt, hands down. I wouldn't even argue with you on that. Yeah.
All right, so we'll jump over to Brandon. Brandon, you tell me, is Lionel Messi the greatest soccer player ever?
Well, when we got the topic, and off the top of my head, I thought of 3 players: Pele, one of them, Beckham, and Messi were the 3 that just jumped to mind right away. So I'm kind of with J-Mac on that, and I think Pele, he's done a lot for the league. I mean, he's pretty much on average scored a goal a game, so that's pretty tough to do in even today's soccer. So back then, maybe not so much, but I'm gonna go with what J-Mac said and just stick with Pele.
Well, when you look at the greatest soccer player of all time, or just the greatest player of all time in any sports, a lot of people look at accomplishments. That's what they want. They look at scores, and some people will look at the amount of championships that they have. Some of them will, but it's based upon your opinion on how you feel you should go with it. So when you look at Lionel Messi, he's an amazing goal and assist machine. I mean, the guy just scores goals left and right, gets assists left and right. He has a catalog of friggin' trophies. And when I'm talking about trophies, I don't only mean from one. I mean, he's got club trophies. He's got country trophies. I mean, he's got just trophies all over the place. How many people have the amount of trophies that he has? And just his handling skills in general. He can, and I know I don't want people to get confused when I say dribbling, because I'm talking about, dribbling the ball with his feet. He's one of the best to ever do that. He's an excellent team coordination skills too. So he can actually put a team on his back. He can coordinate that whole team. There's so many things that Lionel Messi can do that other individuals could not do. And I know, and I understand where you're coming from with Pele, but you have to look at a proven leader of a team, and Lionel Messi's there. Now, would Pele get the same amount of money now that Lionel Messi did if Pele was playing? I mean, it was definitely a possibility, but right now I would have to say that Lionel Messi, to me, is probably the greatest soccer player to ever play. And it's also about when he scores goals. He scores goals at the biggest, most opportune times that he needs to. He comes through in the clutch. He's one of the clutchest soccer players to ever play the game. You have Ronaldo right now that's out there. People put him in the top 5. Of course, Pele's in the top 5.
Yep.
There's so many guys, but Lionel Messi, to me, you have to put over the top of anybody else. So, J-Mac, do you have what else do you have to say on that?
I mean, Messi's there. Like I said, he's definitely top 5, top 3 all time. And I won't even argue that. But Pele's always going to be number 1 to me. And I could arguably, I'll say arguably. I'm not even set on the fact that Pele is completely number 1 without anyone arguing and bringing in other stuff. But you got Messi. For me, you got Messi, you got Pele, and David Beckham. Those 3 are the top 3 soccer players of all time.
Now, Are you almost putting Ronaldo? Do you want to put Ronaldo in your top 5?
Top 5,
because
sure.
You got to think. Yeah, Ronaldo. You have Ronaldo and Messi at the same time. So, who are you going with there? Are you going to go with Messi over Ronaldo?
Yeah, I think so. I think I have to. I think I'd have Ronaldo at 4.
Okay, and now a lot of people forget about Maradona too.
Yeah, for me, he's probably just outside the top 5.
Whoa, you're not going to put Maradona in your top 5?
I think he's just outside. I mean, maybe 5B.
It's kind of interesting, though, too, because a lot of people, well, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but there are some people out there who are going to put Maradona at the tippy top. And I'm like, you can't put Maradona at the tippy top because I don't think he's better than Messi. I don't think he's better than Pele. The one thing that I will say about Pele is that Pele is the one who basically put soccer on the map. He's the one who did that. And then after Pele, it kind of dropped off a little bit, and then you had David Beckham, and then you had Ronaldo, and then you had Messi, and Maradona. I think the interesting thing about Maradona that people think about with him is that he actually started playing before his 16th birthday. So I think that's the most impressive thing with him. So that's why with him, you can classify as, I almost say top 3, because he started playing at such a young age and was dominant at such a young age. That's why I would almost put him in the top 3. I don't know. J-Mac, you're saying just outside the top 5, right?
Just outside, yeah.
So who do you put him? What 5 guys do you have in front of him, in front of Maradona?
Pele, Messi, Beckham, Ronaldo, and 5 is going to sound crazy to a lot of people. I understand how it's going to sound, but for me, I got Landon Donovan when he played for the United States national team. Just because of how much he's meant. He's been like the biggest name in American soccer in forever. So for me personally, Landon Donovan's at number 5.
Well, he is one of those very, very underrated players that a lot of people don't even talk about or consider a top 5, because people will only talk about that he had a few good years. And then they said he kind of tapered off. But he had more than just a few good years. He was impressive virtually his whole career in soccer. Now, Brandon, I'm not going to leave you out on this one.
No, go ahead.
No, it's fine. So, Ronaldo and Beckham. So let's say you have Messi, Ronaldo, and Beckham. Tell me, what list are you going to put them in? I left Pele off the list because you said that Pele is number 1. You have Pele at number 1. So you have Messi, Ronaldo, and Beckham. How were you going to order them?
Honestly, I'd probably go with them 3, right? Just the way you said it. Messi, Ronaldo, Beckham. Because when I was doing research, couldn't really find Beckham, and I'm like, come on now. I mean, we knew Beckham. I mean, he came overseas here and started playing a little bit. So, I mean, he's brought soccer back, so I don't understand how you can't have Beckham in the top 5. But I think the way you listed them would be the way I would go. So,
yeah, I don't understand how you would not be able to find Beckham, because Beckham's been a big time name. So that is crazy. But Beckham is obviously top 5.
Mm-hmm. Now there was one guy I found.
Top 5. Ronaldo's top 5, huh?
Mm-hmm. There was one guy, Jose Barkov, Barca, and a lot of people, when I was pulling them up there, there's different reports or different stats, and so I mean they're saying that some people said that he scored 5,000 goals, and some are like, oh, he only scored 15, and it's just like, okay, so, and they had him listed as number 1 in a lot of places, so.
Well, they had unofficial stats then.
Exactly.
That's really what it was. It was the unofficial stats. They didn't keep good track of how many goals you scored at that point.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, if
really
that's the
hard.
case, I mean, yeah, he's definitely up there. But with inaccurate information, you can't really throw him out there. So
no, but when you hear soccer, the names you hear of, the big names you hear of are obviously Messi, Ronaldo, Beckham, and Pele, and
I'd throw Donovan in there.
Maradona, and Donovan. Yep. You don't hear about Donovan as much as you used to, but and that's only because of Messi and Ronaldo. That's why you don't hear a lot about it. And a lot of people have kind of backed off on Pele too, which is kind of crazy. But that is because this man Messi came in and kind of took the league by storm and took it over, and now has the richest contract in all of sports ever with his $600 million contract, which is absolutely freaking crazy.
Well, how about this though? What was crazier than this though? Think about this. What could he do for American soccer? Everyone talks about what he's doing with PSG, but what people don't know is that PSG is actually the same owner. He owns the New York Red Bulls and the MLS. So if you got Messi to this huge contract, he starts not playing, say, just a notch below where he's always played in France. Why don't you bring him to the MLS and put him on the New York Bulls? And how big would you make that league then if you had David Beckham and Messi playing in the same league in America?
That's what they need. They need a shot in the arm. That's what they need.
Mm-hmm.
There's not enough competition is really, really what it is. Yeah. You have Beckham, but then in the other side, you have Messi. So you need to have them both in the same league. And just imagine them two in the same league, the amount of competition you would have. That would be.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know Beckham was still playing. I really did not. I haven't heard his name in years, and so.
Well, he's getting old, but now keep in mind too. But keep in mind, Messi is 32 also.
Yep.
He's 32. So how long is Messi going to keep playing for? Soccer players, I mean, their body kind of gets worn out. I think Messi can probably – I'm going to say he plays for at least another 8 years. At least.
Get him on some TB12, and he can probably play forever in soccer.
TB12. Well, hold on here, because I think people often forget too, though, that to play soccer, you have to have stamina.
Oh yeah.
You have to have strength. It's not that easy because I mean you constantly have to run up and down the field, and it's not like you get one intermission. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you get all these breaks in the NFL. You have one quarter ends, and then you sit out and you play on offense, and then you get a break when the defense is out there. No, Messi's out there time and time, just running up. So it takes strength and stamina to play soccer. It is not easy. I played soccer for 1 year in high school. I played soccer 1 year. And I'll tell you what, that was probably the most grueling thing I have ever done. I mean, I'll tell you what, we were horrible. My team sucked. And J-Mac will say, yes.
I sat through that entire horrible season.
It sucked.
They played on a field with.
Did he freeze?
Why does he always freeze like that?
I don't know. He froze.
Oh.
Froze, but anyways, yes, David Beckham is an owner of an MLS team. But anyways, going through that, yes, we were dreadful. We were absolutely horrible. Probably one of the worst soccer teams you could ever see.
No, I played soccer when I was younger too, up until probably 6th, 7th grade. So, yeah, I know you're always out there. You're not taking breaks unless it's a timeout or intermission, like you said. So,
All right, and going away from that now we'll jump into our next topic, which is actually about female sports. So we've talked about, who's the greatest female player of all time, who meant more to their sport ever, the greatest women's team of all time when it comes to any sport. But how about this? How about is the next step for women's sports their own dedicated channel? And I feel like when you look at ESPN and ESPN2, they need something. They need to have something out there that can kind of pull in the viewers. So, J-Mac, I'm going to start with you. Do you think that this is their next step? They need it.
Yeah, I do. I do. I do think it's their next step. And I think they'll get there. I think there's a lot more interest in women's sports. People are really – don't get me wrong, men's sports are not going away. Not anytime soon. Or is places like the NFL, Major League Baseball, they're not going away. But I think people are more intrigued by the women's game because the other side of it, these guys are just getting greedy and they just want more money now. And the women are out there playing for less money, which isn't fair. Let's face it, it's not. They should be getting paid what the men are getting paid. But they're out there because they love playing their sport too. And so I do think a dedicated channel is what it's going to take next. And you're talking a huge launch, not this thing where they're like, oh, yeah, like a year ago we set up a women's sports channel and no one watches it. No, it needs to be like an ESPN type, like a, get this going because there's so many good sports out there, so many good sports that women play as well. I mean, again, I just watched a high school volleyball game tonight, and you're sitting there thinking, man, why am I doing this? And then you find yourself getting into it. You're like, oh, good dig, good save. And then you're watching them and they're diving on the floor to hit the ball, and you're just, man, it can get exciting. You get caught up in it. It's a sport. It's a sport. It doesn't matter if it's men's, women's, what it is. You can get caught up in it.
All right, so Brandon, your thoughts on this? Is this the next stop?
It's definitely their next stop. I mean, it's going to take probably, a woman to become CEO of a network or something to say, hey, I want a channel, 12 hours a day dedicated to women's sports to see how it goes. I mean, they're going to have to step their foot in. But yeah, WNBA, I actually enjoyed watching them, just like J-Mac said. They're out to play. They're just out there to have fun. They're playing for the love of the game. Not saying that none of the male guys are, because there is some. But, I mean, the way the male contracts are going right now, it's all about the money right now. Where women, even high school, it's all about having fun right now and enjoying the game. Even watching amateur baseball in town here, I like going to because it's about the fun of the game instead of all the money. So, yeah, I think it's going to take a CEO of a woman to step in the network and say, hey, I want this, and we're going to try it. So it's going to be a big step when it does happen.
Well, I think we're slowly getting there because you do see now this coming year, we do have our first official female white hat, so to say, for NFL. So that's definitely a big step. And then we've had a few female coaches in the NFL side too. And so we're definitely going in the right step to where they're starting to get some more publicity out there. And so people are saying that the Vic, we nominate you.
Yep.
Was that you, J Mac?
Yeah, it was.
That's what I thought.
No.
We nominate you.
So am I wrong though?
It's
No.
No, the Vic.
No. But and you're definitely going in the right direction with that. It's just their next stop is a dedicated channel, but it is going to have to be some major channel. It can't be just some channel that you find in the 300 Direct TV or whatever, or cable. It's got to be an actual channel that almost everybody can get, the same as ESPN or ESPN2. It's got to be a channel like that. And it's got to be dedicated to all women's sports, because, they have a women's tackle football league.
Yep.
They have the WNBA, which isn't talked about enough. They have softball Olympics, everything too. And they need that publicity just as much as men do.
So what network or channel do you think that would take that step, or you could see taking that step?
Maybe Fox?
Actually think
that's the one I thought too.
I mean, Fox, but I actually think what the best move would be is for them to acquire ESPN2. So you got ESPN for the men's side and ESPN2 for the women's side.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
I think if you did that, that would be the biggest move you could make, because now you're part of the ESPN and Disney family.
I mean, yeah, I could definitely see that. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be bad, but I've always wondered why they haven't. And I think eventually somebody will step out and say that this is what they need next. And hopefully it's coming. I don't know how long it's going to take, but hopefully it's coming. Somewhere down the line, we'll finally see it, and we'll finally start seeing ratings and viewers of the females, women's sports finally stepping up and becoming a bigger thing. It's sad when you look at the WNBA, how financially unstable they are. And it's just because of viewership, and they can't seem to find funding. And it's kind of interesting, too, how some of these athletes, especially some of the male athletes, will come out and be like, oh, you need to come out and support the WNBA. They're not financially stable. They are hurting. And then you're like, okay, then why aren't you out there and promoting them? Why aren't you stepping in and helping them? Why aren't you? You can talk, but are you going to actually come out and help? So if you want to help the cause yourself, you need to step up and do something. Not just say it and not just sit there and preach it. Practice what you preach. So are you going to step in and help? Hopefully somebody will. Hopefully a male athlete will step up and be like, hey, we need to focus on this. We need to help the ratings. We need to help the viewers. That would be big. And I'm waiting for somebody to take that step. So whatever male athlete wants to step in and do that, everybody will applaud you. Everybody will applaud you. Heck, some of these guys that make $30 million a season, we just saw freaking Dak Prescott get a ridiculous contract for almost $40 million a season. And Dak doesn't deserve it. You could take some of that some of that money and put it towards the WNBA and help them. I mean, come on.
I think the biggest thing that it hasn't happened right now is the crowd size. I mean, that's one thing. They're not, if you're doing a live broadcast and have no crowd there, then you're just hearing the game itself, which, I mean, it could help the game. You're hearing it, but I think just the fact that we don't have a network dedicated to that or a channel, I think a lot of it has to do with the crowd size itself.
Well, it's because they don't advertise it enough.
Well,
they
could
don't.
Be right. I mean, they don't advertise. You're right.
And even when you look at March Madness, everybody always talks about the male side of March Madness.
Yep.
But nobody ever talks about, oh, I can't wait to watch the female side of March Madness. I can't wait to see that. It's always, I can't wait to watch the male side of March Madness. And it's because that one is advertised a heck of a lot more.
And honestly, ESPN's the one that's driving it. I mean, if they would just have more highlights of women's side, I bet you that would drive ratings right up too. And everybody would be like, oh, let's watch this tonight, instead of, oh, we're going to watch Pittsburgh versus the Rockies tonight. We'll watch, a women's softball game or something. So
yeah, and that's why as the ASAP Network, we are here to defend and basically make equality, and we're not going to be biased at all. We're going to talk about women's sports. We're going to talk about male sports because we feel like on Sports Minute, we got to talk about everything.
Well, maybe ASAP should be the network that picks up women's sports, huh?
Absolutely.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We don't
We'll
know what
see.
the future holds. That should segue us into our next segment, though, because
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Boom. J-Mac Spotlight Player.
Well, my spotlight player tonight is not one player.
Ooh.
My spotlight player tonight is multiple players, and it's every standout player that is in Women's Professional Tackle Football League. So you have women in this league, and again, this is something that you don't hear a lot about. But when you hear some of these accomplishments, listen to the amount of games that they've done this in. So you have Donna Wilkinson, a running back / tight end for the DC Divas. Okay. And she also played for the Los Angeles Amazons. But she became the first woman in the modern era to rush for over 1,000 yards in an 8-game regular season. 8 games she ran for 1,000 yards and 22 touchdowns, by the way,
Nice.
in 8 games. Yes, that's crazy. Those are some crazy numbers. Then you had Whitney Zeeley, was a running back for the Boston Militia / Renegades. They've been both names. In 2013, by the way, I'm sorry, Donna Wilkinson did that in 2010, where she was the first one to rush for 1,000 yards. 2013, Zeeley eclipsed the 2,000-yard benchmark and set a new league record of 2,128 yards in an 8-game season. When's the next time an NFL guy is going to do that?
What is the record for the NFL?
2,105, and it's in 16 games.
Okay, so she's up there then, or past it.
2,128. She ran for more, and she won conference MVP honors. Well, I hope so.
Yeah, no kidding.
Also that year, she holds the Women's Football Association record for most touchdowns in a game. She ran for 8 touchdowns in a game on May 18th, 2013 against the DC Divas and Donna Wilkinson. So those two were going head-to-head in that game.
Nice.
By the way, she set the league record for rushing touchdowns in a season with 31. So, tonight my spotlight player was a couple different players, but women that have done great things in professional football. And I, for one, I don't care, man. It's football. The only football I've ever seen that I didn't want to watch was the fan-controlled football league because it was ridiculous, right? But I would watch this. Like I would watch this football if they would televise it, if they would promote it and put it on TV. I would watch it for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
No. Go
okay,
ahead,
so let
Brandon.
me piggyback off of that. So back in 2001, 2-ish, Minnesota started this barnstorming tour for women's tackle football. And my aunt actually played on it for 2 seasons. It was just the 2 teams, and they went to, I think, 7 different states to play in front of crowds. And she was a right tackle for the Lake Michigan Minks, but pretty much they both were Minnesota teams. So they ended up playing 6 games, and actually they played their final game in the Metrodome for that season. The Lake Michigan Minks took it, won all the games in this barnstorming tour, but the game-winning field goal was kicked at the Metrodome. But like you said, J-Mac, watching the game and hearing the helmets, the pads hit, and you're looking up, it's like, oh my God, that sounded hard. And then it's like, oh my God, it's women and they're hitting hard. So it's football. They don't hold back. So it is a fun thing to watch. And I enjoyed watching my aunt play for the 2 seasons she did.
All right. So now we're going to go to our last thing of the night, which is Ace's minigame. So on Ace's minigame, guess what? The trivia's back. But it's not it's not movie quote trivia. This is actually MLB trivia.
Ooh. Okay.
And
Let's do it.
And J-Mac, since you were the defending champ against Brandon the last time, you choose. You go first or second.
I defer.
So he defers. So Brandon, you get to go first.
All right, I'll start on the 25-yard line.
All right. So your first question is, what team did Babe Ruth play for before joining the Boston Red Sox?
Well, that was no. He played for oh God. Baltimore Orioles, wasn't it?
And you are correct.
I had to think of the movie for a second. I remember him getting signed out of there.
So there's 1 point. There's 1 point for Brandon. Okay, J-Mac, your question. What team moved to D.C. to become the Washington Nationals in 2005?
The Montreal Expos.
You are correct. All right. Oh, man, Brandon, you get an easy one, too. Who has played the most consecutive games of baseball, breaking Lou Gehrig's record on September 6, 1995?
Cal Ripken Jr.
That is correct. Okay. Now, J-Mac, now a few of them are going to start getting a little bit harder now. I gave you a few easy ones right off the bat. So now you get now you're going to get a tougher question. What 1929 feet did Lee Richmond perform in a Major League Baseball first?
Hit for the cycle.
No. Brandon, you want to take a guess?
I'm going to say unassisted triple play.
No. The correct answer is he pitched a perfect game.
That was close.
All right. Brandon, this question comes to you. Before playing in the majors, Jackie Robinson played with the minor league Montreal Royals, the top farm club of which organization?
God. I'm going to say Dodgers.
You want to be a little bit more specific?
Brooklyn Dodgers.
That is correct. All right. J-Mac, this one comes to you. What up-and-coming star player saw his first World Series with the Yankees in 1936 as Babe Ruth's replacement?
$36. Mickey Mantle?
No. No. Any guesses, Brandon?
Let's say Lou Gehrig, but I know that's not right.
No, the correct answer is Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah, that was the third one.
Yes. It was in the movie when he comes up and he's like, stay out of my... Yeah, he bickers with him throughout the movie. God dang it.
All right, Brandon, this question to you. What is the oldest active ballpark in Major League Baseball?
Ooh.
Oh, come on.
Ooh, that is tough, though. We'll go Wrigley Field.
And that is not the correct answer. J-Mac, you have a chance to steal this one.
Oh, Fenway Park.
And that is the correct answer. The correct answer is Fenway Park. So J-Mac,
I know it was one of the two.
So it's now 3-2. Brandon's got a 3-2 lead. J-Mac just got that point. Now he has a chance to Catch it up. Okay. What player was accused of using too much pine tar on his bat in July?
George Brett.
All right. There you go. George Brett. So it's now 3-3. So, Brandon, it comes back to you. What basketball great made the surprising decision to switch sports, signing a minor league baseball contract with the White Sox in 1994?
Oh, come on.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, absolutely right. That one's too easy. All right.
Now, I probably would have thought about it if he didn't say the White Sox. If he just said, it's like, okay, outside of Jordan, who else would it have been?
All right, so J-Mac, here's your question. What baseball announcer was famous for his signature phrase, "Holy cow"?
Harry Carey.
And yes, you're right.
Oh, okay. Now we got that wrong.
Who'd you think it was?
I was thinking Buck.
Buck, no?
Yeah, Buck, no, you're right.
All right. Brandon, this is your question right here. What team hosted the infamous Disco Demolition Night promotional event on July 12th, 1979?
Disco night.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Rob Wilds? How you doing tonight? He said he's showing us some love, so he's watching it.
Hey, Rob. Disco night, 79.
Disco Night, 1979.
I'm going to say the Yankees.
All right, that is not correct. J-Mac, any guesses?
Pittsburgh Pirates.
And that is not the correct answer. The correct answer is actually the Chicago White Sox.
Oh.
All right. So I think Brandon got that last question. So this one comes to J-Mac now. What country has contributed the most players to Major League Baseball outside of the United States?
Dominican Republic.
And that is correct. So for a chance to tie it up, Brandon, this is your chance to tie it. If you don't, the game goes to J-Mac. Okay? Who is the only pitcher in Major League Baseball to win a World Series game in 3 different decades?
Ooh, that is tough. No, I'm going to get it wrong. I'm going to say Cy Young, but I know that's wrong.
That is not correct. J-Mac, do you have any guesses at who it might be?
Don Sutton.
No. So the correct answer on that is actually Jim Palmer.
Yep. And that name was rolling around in my head because I'm like, I remember the 70s, the 80s. Gosh.
Yep. Yeah.
It would have been. It would have been.
Now that he said that, it's like.
So Jim Palmer, wouldn't that have been 1968, 1971, and then 1980?
Yes. So since we have a few more minutes, I'll throw around a few more questions here. So J-Mac, what pitcher ended Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak?
Ooh.
Oh. The is there.
Sandy Koufax.
No. Brandon, any guesses?
Yeah. Not even Nolan Ryan. No.
No.
No, I'm out.
You're out. It's Jim Bagby. Oh, he's like, I have no idea who that is. All right. Brandon, this one's for you. In the mythology surrounding the Chicago Cubs, what curse is responsible for the team not reaching the World Series since 1945?
God dang it.
We all know the one about
Yeah.
the Red Sox and Yankees and that, but there was
Yeah.
also a curse of the Chicago Cubs.
God dang it. No, and I should know this too because I was kind of followed the Cubs back in my younger days. The curse of. Ain't it the curse of the goat?
Oh yeah, you were so close. It's the curse of the Billy Goat.
Billy Goat. Okay.
Yeah.
So half a point since I said goat.
Yeah, just so last question will go to J Mac and we'll wrap it up since we're at that mark. Who was the only member of the Cincinnati Reds Big Red Machine of the 1970s to be born and raised in Cincinnati?
Born and raised in Cincinnati.
Yes.
Oh,
1970 Big Red Machine. And no, Brandon, I'm not talking about Kane.
I don't think I'm right, but I'm gonna say Joe Morgan.
No. Brandon.
That's tough.
Tim's saying Roger Clemens, and that's not right. He's saying Griffey. That's not right either.
When you said it first, and I almost positive this is wrong, Pete Rhodes.
You know what? You are correct. It is
Wow.
Pete Rose.
Wow. That was the first thing that popped in my mind too, and I'm just like, no, that's wrong.
Yeah. I stumbled on that one because I thought Pete Rose, and then I don't know why, but then I thought of Dave Concepcion, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think he was born in Cincinnati. Yeah. And then I went with Joe Morgan. So,
all right. Well, with that, anyways, I'll let everybody know tonight again. J Mac, he ended up winning it 6-5 tonight. Congratulations, J Mac. He gets 5.5. Okay, 6 and 5.5. I'm sorry for that. 6 and 5.5. All right. Well, anyways, so we're at that point now to where J Mac, you got 30 seconds to wrap up on whatever it is you got to say.
I just want to thank everyone for watching, and lifelong dreams being lived here, being able to do this, and look for big things to come from All Sports All Plays Network. There is stuff in the works that we cannot talk about due to contractual reasons, but you will find out about those soon enough. And I'm telling you, I know I've said this before, but I'm telling you this time, this will be the biggest news in All Sports All Plays history.
And then, of course, Mr. Brandon Herrera. Go ahead. You got 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm with J-Mac. Thanks for everybody watching. For all the viewers, if you like what we see, you like other sports, ASAP covers it all. We got shows pretty much for everybody. So enjoy the shows, share them, like them, get your name in the Viewer of the Month.
And thank you all for watching. And, of course, tomorrow is going to be Real Talk, and we actually have a lot more podcasts that we're going to be playing, and so you just have to kind of catch a wind of them that they're going to be playing throughout the day. So you never know when a show is going to be popping up, because now we're starting to get content just throughout the day. So be ready for that.
I believe tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern is Intercept Your Lunch.
Gotcha.
With my boy Marty Joins. I'm actually on that show this week, so that'll be on tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time.
All right. I like it. So I hope everybody has a fantastic night. I am Ace. That's Brandon Herrera, and that is J Mac. And this is us signing off. So everybody have a fantastic night, and we will see you again.
All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. All Sports All Plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, never the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All Sports All Plays. Network. All Sports All Plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports all plays. All sports all plays.